Alright, my friends, I wanted to cover a little topic in this video about runecasting. Obviously, but a specific thing. Right, so I wanted to talk about what questions should be asked or not asked. Right, so I think I should start with when should we cast runes. We should cast runes whenever we need advice from our spirit guide, the gods, the Norns, but rather the Norns. The Norns are the weavers of fate. I leave the gods out of the rune castings as far as I can. I honor them and in other ways. Right, rune casting works also without the gods and without the Norns. It's also a bit about belief and what you believe in and whatnot. So that was the question, when do we cast runes? Right. Now, are there certain questions we should not ask? Yes, there are, for sure. And those are, for example, yes or no questions. A good example, a classic one, would be: will I get him back? Will I get her back? Does she love me? Does he love me? All those are yes or no questions. Will I have a happy life? Will I ever find love? All these kind of things. You get the idea. Classic questions that pop up every now and then, and I say, no, it's a yes or no question. It does not work like that. The runes won't answer a yes or no questions. They answer, but they don't answer directly with a yes or no. You could answer yes or no questions in a certain way, for example, by saying all runes that are upright is yes, runes that are Merkstave is no. And then you could count the runes that are upright and Merkstave, but I think it's a silly method, right? So how do we change the question to be fitting for the casting, right? To ask the Norns and the spirit guides. So basically what you want to do is you want to formulate a open question. Does he love me? Make an open question. How does he feel about me? That would be an open question for that. Works wonders, works perfectly fine. 50% or more of my runecasts are love related. Obviously the runecasts that I do for other people's, because I have no love life. But you get the idea. Formulate an open question, right? This is very important and will save you a lot of trouble with interpreting, because you might get an answer like, what did I say? Now these Isa Urus. Some random runes that you can't interpret, or you don't know the context of them, right? You can't interpret them in the context of your question. In the question of, does he love me? And it would be Isa Urus and what now these? How would you interpret it, right? Okay, I could interpret it, but that's not the point of this video, right? So save yourself trouble and problems by pronouncing an open question, right? That will make life easier when it comes to runecasts. Good. Another topic is time span. Right. I do my runes for the day, the runes for the week, the runes for the year, whatever. But how do we define a certain lifespan when using runes in runecasting? Well, it is actually pretty easy. What you want to do is you want to formulate a time span in your question already. For example, half a year, or the week, the day, all that stuff. You get the idea. So let's put an example. You want to know your love life in the next 6 months. And originally you want to know if you will be in a relationship in 6 months. That would be a yes or no question. So you ask how, or yes, how will be my love life in the next 6 months? And then if you are a bit experienced with runes and and you know their meanings as you learn on your rune journey, you think about specific runes and constellation of runes. For example, Manas and Gebo together, Awas, all those runes that are harmonic and relationship indicating runes, I call them. You want to look out for them in your rune cast then, when you cast the runes, right? Works pretty good. It is a thing of practice and obviously of intuition and trust. Also, another important topic, it's now going a bit off topic with the time thing, but never ask the same question twice. This goes for all divination system, this goes for runes, tarot, pendulums, doesn't matter. Don't ask the same question twice. If you ask the question and you got your answer and you can't interpret your answer, that's not the one's problems, and they shouldn't be bothered with the same question again, right? So there's different things you can do if you can't interpret your runecast, which can happen. It happens to me also sometimes. So what you can do is you can clarify specific runes. How do we do that? I'm now in the woods, I don't have my cards with me, but basically the idea is you can also be... Let's do it with the rune chips. Right, let's say you put a rune and the rune is orthala. And you want to know what orthala relates to, right? Orthala has different meanings. Also orthala now, because we got it, it's the lover's protection rune. It is, if you look at it, it is in Gebo and it has like a little topping. So that's why it's called the lover's protection rune. But basically it's an ingwas with feet, with legs. Right, this happens when you make videos outside. Okay, so let's say you want to clarify orthala because you don't know what orthala relates to. So you pull another rune, intuitively with the method of your choice. Oh, in this case we got Awas but Merkstave. Right, so orthala relates to Awas Merkstave. To put it into an example, if the rune reading was love based, orthala could be, for example, one of the runes that you pulled and you clarified it with Awas Merkstave. So the home, the feeling of being home and together and feeling together is leading to Awas Merkstave, which is now a contradiction because Awas Merkstave is a lack of trust and harmony, and so this balance and lack of balance and harmony. It was a bad example, but you get the idea of clarifying runes. So, now to get back to the topic of time frames when in runecasting, clarify the time frame before you cast, right? When you formulate your question, formulate also a time frame. Another question that you should never ask is, when will I die or how will I die? Those things should not be of concern to anyone, right? I think that was a pretty good compilation of informations about what you should do and not ask and whatnot, and how asking works for this video. So I'll say until next video and have a good Saturday.